Good evening, everyone. My name is Mahima Lal, and I am the part of engagement marketing team at Hero Wire, and I'm your host for today's session. So, before we move into this exclusive session and this exclusive topic, a quick introduction to this platform, which is Hero Wired, everyone. So, guys, Hero Wired is a premium learn tech company, which is the part of the larger Hero Group, which is on a mission to not only reimagine the way people learn, but also help them in building a better and a brighter future. So we are on basically equipping our learners with the right skill set, the right knowledge and expertise that they would be, requiring in order to find success in their lives. So before we move into the session, as you all can see that today's title for the session is Money, Monsters and Marketing. And in order to present this topic, we have a seasoned professional here with us. A very warm welcome, Arvind.
Thank
It's
you.
great to
Thank
have
you.
you here for this
It's my
session.
pleasure to be here as well. Thank you.
A quick introduction to Arvind. So basically, Arvind is the founder of Put the Player First, and he carries 15 plus years of hands-on experience. He's one of the facilitators in the world with learning framework based on applied gaming design. And today he will be taking you through this journey of, how you can build a profitable personal brand in a gamified way. And as you all know that today we are in a webinar setup and you won't be able to switch on your mics and your cameras. So we have a Q&A section and a chat box which we have opened for you. If you want to make the session interactive and you would want to respond to Arvind's questions, you have a chat box where you can make the session interactive. And if you have specific queries, we can maintain a chat and question hygiene by you can keep putting your questions in the Q&A section and the responses in the chat box. I think, Arvind, we have a good number of people and we can kickstart the session with you now. Over to you.
Thank you. And 52, my goodness, 52 people on this webinar. That's very, very nice. Hello and welcome, everyone. What I want you all to do is very quickly go into the chat box and type out which city you're turning in from. I'm very, very curious. I've never had anybody turn in from the Northeast. Ashok is from Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai. I love the spelling of Hyderabad, because I'm in Bangalore and near my house there's this signboard, right? It doesn't say Hyderabad, it says Hyderabad. And every time I see Hydra, I'm like, oh, G.I. Joe, that sort of a thing. As far as Chandra and Suresh, we're all, Aurangabad, Karan, I've lived in Aurangabad, man. I lived there for about 3 months. Lovely, lovely city, very, very peaceful. It's very nice. Mughal Sarai, never heard of that, Shameen. Thank you for that. Vadodara, Tejas, very nice. I've been there when I was teaching at Micah in Ahmedabad as well. Boniface from Uttam Nagar, New Delhi. Boniface, the fondest and the scariest memory I have of New Delhi was in the year 2008. I was a very, very relatively younger human being who was in sales, and I had to do door-to-door sales. And with all the money that the company had given me, I had to go live in a place called Paharganj. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Paharganj is a very interesting place, to put it politely. All sorts of characters turn up. And that was the day, mind you, when Yuvraj had hit like 6 sixes for the first time in a 2020 match. And it was a fun experience. So, all right. Today, we are going to be talking about money, monsters, and marketing. And I can already see that there are 2 questions that are coming in. All right, so 2 people have put in Kandivali, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. They are not questions. They are, unfortunately, places. And those questions, I would love for you to, answers, put them in the chat. Questions, drop them in the question and answer box, okay? Now, the good news is, since Ashok is keeping track, sorry, not Ashok, I think Rajesh, right? He is keeping track of the cricket score. I'm keeping track of something else, right? If you can see my screen, I have a timer going on as well. And hopefully we will end up this session right on time. And by the time we're done with this session, you would have changed the way that you're going to be looking at personal branding itself. So with everybody's permission, I am going to share my screen. Is that okay, Mahima? Awesome. Okay. So, right. I'm going to be looking off to the right because I have a second monitor. But today, what we're going to be talking about is what I love. It's called money, monsters, and marketing. These are the three M's that I absolutely love. I love money because it helps me keep the lights on and it helps me pay for my daughter's education. I love monsters because I've been a gamer since the age of like 5. So but don't hack my password, but that's like about 30 plus years. Okay. I'm definitely not 35, more than 35. But I've been gaming since like, like the old uh it was like before the Nintendo 64, like Super Mario and stuff like that. And my daughter and I, we still play that. And I love marketing. Before I actually struck out on my own a couple of years ago, I was doing a lot of marketing. In fact, marketing was my job as well, and I absolutely love it. And right now, I have one very important thing to say that I'm very, very grateful, right? Especially to Hero Wired for giving me this opportunity. This is not a sponsored post. I am genuinely grateful. A lot of my friends work here. You guys are all studying here, so it's going to be awesome. And yes, love the colors and the logo as well, by the way. That said, I run this company called Put the Player First. And what I do is I take any sort of a growth situation, like when you want to pick up a skill or when you want to learn some marketing or when you want to build your personal brand, I turn it into a video game. Well, almost, right? We take ideas from video games. We're going to be plugging it into this sort of a situation where you'll be like, oh my God, this is how it's going to be. Well, let's check it out. All right. Without much ado, 3 things. By the end of the session, before my timer goes down from 40 minutes, 1, you're going to learn how to build a profitable personal brand that's going to help you really grow your career really, really fast. Okay. Next, I'm going to be teaching you this technique that I use called explosive questions so that you can create content very, very easily. And because most of you are way less lazier than I am, I'm going to be sharing my ultra lazy, super duper easy technique that you can use ChatGPT to create everything that you need for personal branding like that. Okay. Remember, anytime you have a question, please just drop it up in the Q&A box, right? So I have it open over here as well. All right, let's dig in. Okay. This is the Put the Player First framework. And this is at the heart of what I'm going to be sharing with you when it comes to building a profitable personal brand. Okay. I want you to imagine this. Think of a movie like, let's say, Kung Fu Panda or The Matrix or Star Wars, right? Or any other fantasy book, right? Like, for example, the Wheel of Time series, if you're watching it on Amazon Prime. It's a great show, by the way. It's nothing like the books. I got all the books over here. Or you know, like Lord of the Rings, if you wish. In the beginning of our story, we have a hero. And this hero's world is very, very messed up. It's broken in some way or the other. The reason it's broken is because the hero is surrounded by monsters on all sides. One day, the hero meets a guide. What this guide does is, well, the guide is special. They're not ordinary. They have some sort of a superpower, and they are fighting against a big, bad, evil villain, right? And the guide's dedicated his life to defeating this villain. When the hero meets the guide tells him, listen, don't worry. I can help you get out of this broken world and reach paradise, right? And the hero's like, sure, what do I have to do? And what the guide does is the guide sends the hero on a bunch of different quests. Yes, Suresh, winner, chicken dinner. It is the hero's journey, almost, right? And I'll explain why it's almost as well, Suresh. And what ends up happening is that the guide sends the hero on a bunch of different quests. And in each quest, what the guide does is the guide creates a very special weapon that the hero can use to defeat a monster. And when they defeat a monster, they get some loot and they get to level up as well. Now, it's not going to be just one quest, right? They're going to be many, many, many different quests. And in fact, for today, we actually had 3 quests. I'm going to be giving you the weapons for it as well. Okay. So, like Suresh said, yes, it is the hero's journey. But what ends up happening is as the hero goes ahead and finishes off all the quests, they're able to become strong enough by leveling up to leave the broken world behind and reach paradise. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. Like Suresh, I wish I could give you like a 5-star or something, Suresh, but like imagine that I'm giving it to you virtually. The cool thing is that the hero's journey is a very, very powerful framework that was developed by Dr. Joseph Campbell in the late 60s and 70s of the previous century. And it's a great structure, right? And in fact, there's a guy called Donald Miller who's written a book called The Story Brand. But what happened was, well, I'm a gamer, right? And stories are really, really nice. And a lot of my favorite games, they follow the structure, but stories are very static, right? It's great for just telling a story, but if you want to think through something, if you want to bring it to life, if you want to visualize or reframe your existing challenge as something else, well, you need something a lot more powerful, which is why I took elements of video games. I took things like, well, monsters. I took things like weapons, loot, level up, quests. All of these are concepts. The Big Bang, for example, right? All of these are concepts from role-playing games and adventure games like Diablo 4, Diablo 3, Diablo 2, Diablo 1, Dragon Age. There's so many different games. This is the heart of what makes this thing work, right? Now, the cool thing is this structure applies to you when you're trying to build your personal brand. Okay, here's how it works. Now, most of the time, people will make one mistake. So I'm going to ask you one very important question. Okay, I want you to go to chat and type out if this was like building your personal brand, right? If your personal brand building journey was like a game that you see on screen right now, who's the hero? Go ahead and type it out. I promise I won't laugh. Well, I won't laugh too much. All right. We got me, myself. All right. What else we got? Me, I guess. Me, me, me. Nope. I'm sorry. I wish I could laugh, so I'm going to laugh. The question, Vikram, was who is the hero? And Nishant gets the answer. It is the customer, right? So the number one rule, right? And that's the name of my framework as well. It's called put the player first. The number one thing that you have to remember that you are not the hero. Okay. If you are trying to build your personal brand, the people that you're going to be helping, the people in front of whom you want to build that personal brand, they are the hero. You're not the hero. If you're not the hero, what role do you play? What do you map yourself onto? Go ahead and type it out in the chat. Yes, absolutely right. You are the guide. Okay, so because here's the secret of personal branding, right? It's not about just posting sad stories on LinkedIn. All right, it's not about posting a selfie when you join a new job. It's not about all that other stuff that people seem to do, right? When you're building your personal brand, whether it's on LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever you choose, it's about you positioning yourself as an expert to your specific audience. Okay. Now, your personal brand is going to help you grow because you are going to be seen as an authority, as a subject matter expert in some particular area. Right. And what you got to do is for everybody else who's searching for help in that area, you are going to be positioning yourself as an expert. Right. So I want you to go on chat and quickly type out what is the area that you want to be seen as an expert in. Okay. Go ahead and type it out in chat. For example, on Twitter, I am seen as an expert on marketing. I'm seen as an expert on building an authority-based business. Ragank can be seen as an expert in finance digital transformation. Okay. Architecture for Mahesh, marketing for Hardik. Awesome. Carpet exports, HR, business loans, sales, marketing in government sector. Okay. So quality, all right. Process engineering. Great. Okay, so while this is happening, right? So you have a bunch of different areas, right? The beautiful thing is every one of the 80 people in this call, you're going to be playing your own game, right? You will have your own hero. You are the guide, of course, but you will have your own hero. But now let's take a look as what the other things are going to be. Your hero, right? For example, I'm going to take Vikram P as an example, right? He's mentioned business loans. He wants to be seen as an expert in business loans. All right, so I'm going to go out and say some things. Vikram, they may or may not be accurate. Please feel free to correct me later. Right, so let's say that Vikram is our guide, okay? And he is in the business of business loans. So for him, the hero could be, well, small and medium businesses that need money, that need capital, that are looking for loans to grow their business, right? Now, let's take that as the hero. In that case, the hero are small and medium businesses, okay? Now, let's look at the problems that they have. Some examples of problems that they could have could be things like, oh, they don't have money for growth. They don't have a steady and easy access to capital, right? And they are probably going on like feast and famine, and they need money to make payroll. These could be all the different monsters. But these monsters, they have downstream effects as well, right? Because your hero is facing all of these problems, because your hero or your customer has to solve all of these problems, they're affected by all of these problems, their world is messed up, right? So your small and medium business owner can be, could be stressed, right? They might be worried. They might be cutting corners. They might be, saying no to opportunities. They might be struggling to figure out where the money is coming from the next production cycle. You see, that's the beauty of it. Because of all of these monsters, there are first and second order implications that come in for the broken world, right? That's what you get as the broken world. But now you, as the guy, you're special, right? There is something about you that makes you different from everybody else out there. That is your superpower. In marketing terms, this would be your unique value proposition. What is that thing that's going to make you different from everybody else? In Vikram's case, it might be, oh, he has access to special interest rates, or maybe he's offering like some sort of education for small and medium businesses, right? The superpower is essentially what makes you different from everybody else out there. Okay. But now you see the big bad. I'm going to come back to it later. We don't need to worry about it just now. When you're coming up as the guide, and your job is to take the hero from the broken world all the way to paradise. And the way you're going to be doing it is you're going to be giving them a step by step process, right? So in Vikram's case, again, I'm just going to be cooking this up. Vikram, please don't judge me when it comes to business loans. It could be number one, make sure like do an audit of your business. Number two could be prepare these sort of financial like balance sheets and documents and stuff like that. Number three, complete the application process. Number four, answer any questions that the checking team is asking, blah, 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 right? So you'd probably come up with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that somebody would need to do to get that business loan and leave the broken. Now, as the guide, if you figured out that, okay, these are the 5 or 10 steps, whatever, that they need to do. And if they do all of this, they will reach paradise. They will be in a place where they don't have any problems at all. Okay. This is like the happily ever after. But you're not going to stop there. You're not just going to tell them do these 5 or 6 things. You're going to be telling them specifically, okay, to do the first step, let's say this is the audit. Here are a list of recommended CAs that you can talk to, right? Or here is a process. Here's like a video training that you can go to do this audit properly, right? Then what happens is that every single asset that you're giving them, every single weapon, now this weapon can be content, it can be a product, it can be a service, whatever you choose, right? It can be used to solve a very particular problem. And when they solve it, they get like some sort of a reward. Loot and level up are both different kinds of rewards, right? Loot is an external, tangible, measurable reward, whereas level up is like an internal transformation, right? And that's what you're going to do. Now, let's take that audit example. So for doing an audit, Vikram might be able to come up with, oh, okay, here are a list of different CAs that you can go to for auditing. Here is a video course on how to do auditing yourself, right? I don't know if that's even possible, but this is an example, right? So by doing that, what ends up happening is Vikram's now given small and medium business owners, his hero, a very specific set of weapons that they can use to solve this monster, which is to solve this problem or defeat this monster, which is, I don't know how to do an audit. Well, here's the first thing. You have to make sure your book's on an order. To solve that, here are these things. When they do this, what do they get? One, they get an audited set of documents, which is valuable to both the hero. They also get a clarity. They also get peace of mind, right? So this clarity, peace of mind, essentially, these are intangible. These are internal transformations. So they come in as level up. Okay. When it goes through this, voila, it's, the hero would have finished off all their quests and they would reach paradise. Okay. So that's one example. And in paradise, of course, now, they've got the loan and everything's fine. They now have capital for the next production cycle. Okay. I'm going to take one more example. I'm not going to do marketing because that's too easy. Let's take architecture. Mahesh, what's your name? Mahesh Kumar. Could you tell me what do you do exactly in architecture? Just go ahead and type it out. And Nishant, you have something in HR, right? So tell me a little bit more. What do you want to be known as an expert for in that? And I'll walk you through this thing live. Then we'll move on to, oh, okay, how do you actually create answers for this? Okay, onboarding employees. Fantastic. Nishant, I'm going to go with that because you came up with the answers. Now, this time, I'm going to be putting up Post-its, so I hope you can see it. Okay, so now his hero would be HR executives. Is that right? I think so. Now, what's the problem? Awesome. He said yes. Okay. So we have the hero as HR executives. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the problems that they have, right? And he's talking particularly in terms of onboarding. So the monsters could be these are the problems, remember, right? So onboarding is time consuming, right? Another thing could be, lack of talent, right? There is, I have no idea what RT means. For me, RT means retweet. I'm pretty sure you don't mean that. Okay. Let's see. What else could be some problems for onboarding? Candidates. So I'm going to call that no show. So thank you for that, Chandra, right? So that's another option. Of course, you see, you can keep on creating more and more, right? So that's what we put down as the monsters, right? Now, when it comes to the broken world, it is essentially the first and second order implications. It's like about asking, so what? So what if onboarding is time consuming, right? So it would mean that it is not an efficient process, right? That's one thing. What else can happen if onboarding is a time consuming process? Lots of people, man hours wasted. We got that. Lavish, the tool is called Miro, Miro.com. $10 a month, mate. Absolutely worth it. Next one is delays in project, right? Competency is an issue. Okay. All right. So as you can see, you can obviously come up with many, many different answers to this, right? Now, the cool thing is when you take the broken world, this is the current place where your hero, HR executives are. What we're going to do is we're going to take that, and for Paradise, what I've done is I've taken our answers to the broken world and I'm just going to invert them. Okay, that's it. So if it's not an efficient process, so now they have efficient onboarding, right? Because Paradise is the place where the hero is not fighting any monsters. They have no problems, right? A lot of man hours wasted. So what else could be there, right? So it is quick and efficient. Quick and efficient. Oh, we already got efficient onboarding, quick and easy to onboard. That's another thing. When it comes to delays, so projects delivered on time. So we have like higher bandwidth as well. Yes, Karan from Aurangabad. I hope I got that right. Completed on time. There are no competency issues, right? No competency issues. Okay. Now, all I did was literally this. I took our post-it from here, the broken world, copied it, pasted it over there, and then just flipped the whole thing. All right. Now we're going to look at the guide. Well, in this case, Nishant, right? So Nishant is the guide. Nishant K. Okay, so we got this. This is just an example, so don't worry. Nishant, what do you think is special about you? What is something that you have that nobody else has? And you don't get to say you studied Hero Wire. That's cheating. All right, while he comes up with an answer, I'm going to explain the big bang a bit later. Talent to pick up talents, right? I'm going to say super fast learner. Okay. L&D expert. That is great news. Okay, so I'm going to probably just stick to L&D expert because this is awesome. Okay, because I'll show you how. Yeah, so, but we have other answers coming in. Does it require that what I have is nobody has it? No, Rajesh, it's not about that. It is about what is it that your hero can get from you easily that they can't get easily elsewhere, right? So I'm going to show you how to use L&D Expert, right? And perhaps even tools. So for example, if Nishant and I were both talking to HR executives about onboarding, right? Because remember, that's the hero. Nishant has the superpower that he is an L&D expert. I'm just a marketer, but when Nishant talks, he can put that power and that value. Yes, Karan, absolutely. It's a key differentiator. In fact, it would be a UVP. If you're getting technical, it's a unique value proposition, right? And the way that works is, one second, let me see if I can dig that out for you as well. I'm gonna paste something in the chat such that okay. Right. How do you actually find your differentiators? Right. Oops. Looks like I'm not able to. Okay. Tell you what, I will I hope you guys can see the new thing that's there.
Yes, Arvind, we can see it.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, right? And help you figure out like how do you actually get a differentiator. I'll make sure, Mahima, it's possible to share this with the attendees later, right?
Yeah,
A
we can do
document.
that.
Awesome. So I'll make sure you guys get this document along with something else I'll be sharing later. But you're going to be looking at things like, oops, what is a specific problem that you're solving, right? So in our case, Nishant may not just be an L&D expert, but he could be an L&D expert specializing in onboarding, right? So that's an option. Maybe he has some special, like, like the L&D expertise, right? Benefits is maybe he's very, very good and comfortable in making videos. Or maybe he makes videos in both English and Hindi, for example, right? So that is an option. Maybe, people like him, right? It's a weird thing, but it is, for some reason, he's able to connect very well with HR executives, right? There's some sort of an uh, emotional appeal. Yes, technology training is a great example as well. Also, one tip, when you're trying to figure out your superpower, don't say you are faster, better, or cheaper, okay? The reason for that is nobody cares. There can always be a bigger company with a bigger budget who can do things faster, better, and cheaper. Instead, you want to focus on how you're going to be different. Okay. All right. Now, let's say that we got that. Now, let's look at the quests, right? Now, for the HR onboarding thing, let's say tech training for new hires, right? So, if the problem that we're solving, just a reminder, is that onboarding is time consuming. Of course, when you're going to be spending time building your own, you'll be spending a lot more time on this. So what ends up happening is very simple. We're going to be creating a set of series of steps, right? So one is set up, could be something like plot your onboarding process, right? So that's step one. Two, identify the gaps. Again, I'm just brainstorming this. Karan, I don't know what action zone is, but I like the words. Okay, once you identify the gaps, do an, I don't know, like a user experience study, right? Fourth could be brainstorm solutions. Fifth could be after you brainstorm solutions, what do you got to do? Pick the right one, right? And then implement it. And then seventh is ask NK to help. Yes, yes. So, okay, remember, this is just a fictitious example, okay? But it's just to make it very real in our minds. So, when we have this, okay, these are all the different steps that they need to go through, okay? When this is happening, what we can do is for each of these as well, right? So, we're going to look at stuff from the quests, and we're going to be looking at stuff from the monsters as well, right? So the weapons, are things that Nishant can give them, that the guide can give the hero to implement this. So looking at both of these, what are the things that Nishant can give, right? It can be, well, I can see like a worksheet to plot onboarding, right? This is something he can make in a Google Doc. Past experience is not a weapon. It'll probably be a superpower, Ashok. Identify the gaps, right? So maybe he could give gap identification SaaS, right? Or you can offer a UX study service. I'm just looking at the stuff that we have in the quests, right? Maybe he can give a checklist. Now I'm looking at checklist to attract more talent, right? So I'm looking at the monsters, right? So I've just filled out like random ones over here, just picking up stuff from here and there, right? So obviously when you're filling this out for yourself, you'll be looking at, oh, okay, I can do this and I can do that. And then it goes off over here, okay? Now, each of these weapons are designed to solve a particular monster. And when they are implemented, what do they get? Well, they get a smoother onboarding process, right? They get more time, they get more efficiency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when it comes to the level up, they get just no peace of mind. They get confidence, blah, blah, blah. You can fill that out, right? Because of solving this, how do they get this benefit? And now when you see, oh, okay, all of these things, they just work out. So you have HR executives who have problems with onboarding because, you know, there could be not enough talent or there are not enough people actually showing up. And as a result, you know, onboarding becomes an inefficient process, time's wasted, delays, etc. Nishant comes in, da, da, da. He's an L&D expert. He has access to a bunch of tools. And what he does is he prescribes this as a process. Okay, do these 7 steps and your onboarding process will be fixed. And when the hero or the HR executives are doing this, well, he's making their life easier. He's giving them a very, very nice set of tools, right? Worksheets, SaaS, services, checklists. And with that, they're able to solve and defeat these monsters, get a smoother onboarding process, more time, more efficiency. As a result, they're happier as well. And once they're done implementing everything that he said, they reach a world where everything is hunky-dory. Okay? With that, that is essentially all you need to do, right? So now the process comes like with this, you have developed your personal brand. Your personal brand is all about you positioning yourself as an expert. The way you do this is step 1, you figure out how it is that you're going to be providing your expertise. And that happens when you understand who's your hero, what their monsters are, and what their broken world is. And yeah, and once you figure this out, you can figure out, oh, okay, this is how they solve the problem, right? Now, it's a very good question, Nishant. I'm just coming back to this, right? And then when you're actually going to be going through the process of building your personal brand, you have to do a couple of things. Number 1, we're going to be creating a ton of content, okay? And we're going to be doing it like super easy. No worries. I'm going to be showing you how as well. And next, you want to be giving things of value to your heroes, to your audience. And the way you do that, all the things that you created as weapons, that's it. You start making them. Nishant, I'm very, very confident, even though, you know, we've exchanged like maybe 15 chat messages, that you can very easily create a checklist to attract more talent. And if you put that up on, let's say, LinkedIn, there will be at least a few HR people who'd be interested in wanting this, right? You can totally do that. You can easily make a worksheet to plot onboarding and stuff like that, right? This is easy stuff. Yeah, see, Nishant can already do that. And by doing this, you already can get the attention of your hero. And because you're giving them this sort of high value content, you do this over time and you help them defeat their monsters and you help them escape the broken world, you will be seen as an expert. Okay. Now, before I go on and explain what the big bad is, do you have any questions? If not, I want all of you to put a smiley in the chat box because it makes me very happy. Otherwise, please ask the questions. I don't know what QQ means, Rajesh. Is that like a weird Outlook thing that happens? This is my first job. I was forced to use Outlook and I never understood. Ah, yes, Rajesh, please. Uh, I think you have to put your questions in the Q&A box. All you young people have such nice abbreviations. I'm just kidding. Yeah, weapon, monster, and loot and level up has a clear differentiation. Okay. I am waiting for a question. All right. Anonymous attendee has said, what is SaaS? SaaS is software as a service. Okay. So it's like sites like Twitter, Facebook. These are all like SaaS things. ClearTrip would be a SaaS company. Right. Do they have definitions? Rajesh, it's pretty much what you would see in video games, mate. Right? It's, well, weapons and monsters. Like weapons are things that you would use to defeat the monsters. In a business or a personal brand context, a weapon is some content, service, idea, mindset, tool set, anything that you can give your customer, the person for whom you, in front of whom you want to build a personal brand, you can give them to be seen as an authority. Monster is the problems that they have. Loot, and again, this is for the anonymous attendee as well. Loot are external rewards, right? So this could be things that are measurable. If you're looking at this, right? So, hey, it's not inside them, it's outside them, right? So maybe they're seen in a better way by their boss. Maybe they're suddenly able to get 72 attendees on a webinar where, normally they'd be getting only 40 or 50 on a Friday evening. That's for somebody else on this call. It could be things like, they have more time in their hands, or maybe they're able to generate more revenue. They're able to generate more sales. That's what loot is, things outside the person. But leveling up is like an internal thing, right? So Chandra, no, it's not about continuous improvement. It's more like, how does their worldview change? How are they transformed internally, right? Are they more calm? Are they more peaceful? Are they more happier? Are they less stressed? Are they fighting with their wife less or husband less? Intangible gains. Yes, you could call that intangible, abstract. All of those things can. Absolutely, Karan. In fact, let me see if I can. You guys go there, or you can just go to this thing, actually. I've like everything that I've taught over here is available for free on YouTube. You don't have to subscribe or anything. I'm not soliciting. I'm just saying that if you want to get into greater detail, I've made like a 4-hour video course absolutely free. And if you go to the first link, you'll get the course and the PDFs. If you go to the second link, you can watch it directly on YouTube. And yes, Karan, all of these things can be implemented with respect to any sort of transformation. In fact, when you're looking at this, I have used this to, don't laugh, but I have successfully used this to lose weight. You can't see it because the camera is just, it's a weird way. But for me, I've used this. Like my weapons to losing weight were Makana and not like, having like a gym buddy, a cycling buddy rather. I have all sorts of different weapons that I've used to make this happen, right? So yes, it can be used in that as well. You can use this in any place where there is a transformation required. Okay. Well, that's pretty much about how do you actually build out your brand. Okay. And now what we're going to do very quickly, I'm going to be showing you how to create content that catches attention. Okay. This part is like ridiculously easy. I'm going to be taking random post-its. Okay. So I'm going to be taking 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm just copying our answers. Okay. Now, what I've done is we have answers for each of these things, right? We have answers for who's the hero, broken world, monsters, guide, weapon, monster, loot, etc. All we got to do is we got to take our answers and we have to multiply this by explosive questions. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay. I'm just going to be giving an example just so that you can see how it can pop up. And in real time, we're going to be generating content that Nishan could possibly post. Okay. So I'm taking the first one, not an efficient process. I'm going to multiply that by who. So I get who multiplied by not an efficient process. Right? That's like the seed of a prompt, right? So I'm going to combine those two to come up with who suffers the most with an inefficient process? That's one question, right? So another one is like delays. Who is responsible for onboarding delays, right? Now let's look at this. What? More time, right? And I'm multiplying more time with what? So that gives me what can HR executives do with more time, right? What multiplied by more efficiency gives what can you do to make your onboarding, what was that? Employee onboarding more efficient, right? Now let's look at when, right? When is it the right time to invest in your onboarding, right? So I'm taking the onboarding as time consuming with. When do you reject a candidate because of a no-show, right? Now let's look at where, right? Competencies issues. Where are competency issues felt the most, right? Why? Okay, so again, I'm looking at smoother onboarding process. So why do you need a smoother onboarding process? How? Okay, so the next one is how. How do you make onboarding more efficient? Okay. Once again, very simply, I took our answers from this framework, whatever entries that we got. And for each one of those, I just multiplied them by who, what, when, where, why, and how. Now you can do this for every single answer you have there, okay? And when you do this, you're probably going to be ending up with like 300 plus different questions, okay? Questions like this, prompts like this. And for you to become a, to become an expert, a subject matter expert in this space, answer one of these questions every single day. And that's it. You do this, your personal brand is built. It's like on autopilot, right? The beautiful thing is, you just got to do two things. One, these sort of prompts, these sort of questions, which you created from your answers to the put the player first framework, and explosive questions like who, what, when, where, why, and how. You answer this, you can create one content piece every single day. Apart from that, all the things that we listed out as weapons, which Nishant is probably already making already, you got to make these and you have to give them to your audience. You can give them for money, you can give it for free. I'm going to leave that up to you. But when you do this, by you giving all of these content for free, right? These also become like small weapons that they can use to fight off their monsters. If you want to build out a very, very powerful brand, a personal brand, you want to be seen as an expert. And the way that you're seen as an expert is when you are solving your customers' problems. And we've just found out how to do that, right? We've looked at, all these answers. We looked at their monsters, we looked at the broken world, we looked at the weapons, multiplied that by who, what, when, where, why, and how, and we got a whole bunch of questions. I'm pretty sure, Nishant, let me know. Can you answer this question? What can you do to make your employee onboarding more efficient? I'm sure you can. If not, you can Google it, but you are an L&D expert, so you should be able to answer it. With that, you will never run out of content ideas, right? And that was the second thing I promised you. When you're creating content in this process, you are tapping into one of the most important things, right? Because all of these post-its, they came from your audience and their problems. Anything and everything that you say in these, as you answer these things, every single one of these topics are of interest to your hero. Every single one of these are focused on the HR executive, if you will, right? So with this, any piece of content that you create by answering these, no problem. It will definitely capture your audience's attention. Now, this is the second part of what I wanted to talk about, right? Any questions on this so far? If not, drop a smiley. Otherwise, put your question in the chat or in the Q&A section, actually. Thank you, Rajesh. But out of 65 people, only 2 people are listening. Oh no, what will we ever do?
Guys, do we have any questions for Arvind?
If not, please give me a smiley. That's even better. I mean, it's nice, but questions are also okay. Okie dokie. All right. We have the few who are listening. So we shall now move on to one of the most, sorry about that. Now we shall move on to one of the most important parts and the most exciting part in the process, okay? We started off by designing how we want to build out our personal brand, okay? And the second thing we did was we found out how can we, well, figure out what are the types of content that we actually have to create. The next thing is, pretty sure I have that somewhere. I'm going to be sharing with you a 15-minute AI-powered workflow, okay? For me, it doesn't even take me more than like 3 minutes or 4 minutes if I have to do something. But before I move forward, I want to address Vikram's question. How do you decide the order of the steps against the who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? So no, there is no order, right? So in an ideal scenario, what you would do is you would not do that. What you would do is like oh my goodness. What you would do is every single post-it that you have, right? You would get that in front of who, what, when, where, why, and how. And then when you multiply them, you would actually get like a bazillion different topics, right? And a bazillion different like questions that you can answer. So there is no order. HR executives multiplied by who. So then you might get something like, oh, who makes a great HR executive, right? So again, every single answer that you have multiplied by these explosive questions, and you'll come up with topics. Now, here's the beauty of this, okay? Let's take this one. What can you do? Okay, that's the question that we're going to be trying to create content, okay? Now I'm going to show you how we can do that very, very fast. 15 minutes. First one is pick a question, right? So we've already done that. Okay, the question that we're going to be working on is this thing. Then I have a very specific prompt that I'll make sure that you get as well. You put in the prompt and you get the output. How many of you know ChatGPT? You know it? Give me some sort of a sign in the chat. Okay, we got Deepa, Mrigank, Rajesh. Okay, cool. I hope this works. Okay. All right, so I have this, and what I'm going to do is I have this prompt that I've made. Remember, I'm in marketing, so I do this kind of stuff every day, okay? I've just pasted this over here, right? You don't have to change most of anything, except now we're going to look at two things. One is audience, and the other one is topic. For us, audience is this, our hero, right? So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to be pasting it over here. I have HR executives. Next is the topic, and what was that question? Right? So I'm copying that, pasting it in topic. Then I hit the magic enter key, and look at the answers that we get. Okay? It took me, I don't know, like less than a minute, okay? But what I'm getting as an output, I'm going to be, I'm just pasting it over here so that it's easier, okay? This is what we got as an output, all right? Now we have the output. What we got, look, this has taken us all of like less than 2 minutes, all right? It's ridiculous. Now you have to spend 12 minutes, right? Okay, yeah, I'm actually, you know what, Nishant, I'm going to do you a favor and I'm going to run that one, okay? So folks, if you're looking at chat, Nishant's shared a particular topic. Now, this could be a bit of a more technical one, and ChatGPT might be a little bit lazy because the people in the US are waking up right now. And that's probably why. Okay. But look, we are getting answers like this. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take this. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm not an L&D expert like Nishant. I honestly don't know much about employee onboarding, whatever, but we get this as an output. Okay. Come on. All right. So there we go. Now it's our job to create the content piece and then publish. And what I'm going to do is I want to, different people have different preferences. You might like to write in terms of text. I like to make videos. And if you are, somebody like this, what you can do is just use this, what we've got as an output, to very quickly create your content. Okay. Now, whatever I'm going to be narrating to you while I'm looking through this is what you would write down as an article piece, right? Like as a LinkedIn post, as a tweet thread, as a Medium article, wherever you're going to be building your personal brand. Okay. Now, the question was, what topics are required to teach new hires, what topics are required to make new hires know MS Excel to analyze data of an organization, right? So the title would be how surefire ways to get new hires ready to analyze data. If you're onboarding a bunch of new people as an HR executive, you have a lot of things happening on your plate. But one thing that I can help you with today is help you understand how to get your new hires ready to work with Microsoft Excel so that they are ready to analyze data. Step one, focus on the basics, right? You have to start with the fundamentals, right? You need to look at the basics such as, hey, how do I do data entry? How do I format all the cells? How do I make sure the data has actually been sanitized, right? That would be the first step. The second thing that you would have to do is teach them all about functions. You need to, make sure that your new hires know how to do VLOOKUPs and sums and pivots, and give them a lot of hands-on data. Perhaps you can get data from data.gov or open data sets and help them practice on real-world examples. And of course, analyzing data is not enough. What you need is a way to visualize that data as well. And that's where you want to make sure that your new hires are capable of creating charts and have a fundamentals sorted when it comes to explaining data in a visual way. If you do this as an HR executive, one, you have a bunch of new hires who are now efficient with data handling. And if you were to choose to get them to work in your team, well, you have HR analytics up and running. And of course, with all this foundational, fundamental training that you're giving them, your reporting accuracy is going to be going through the roof. But it's not as easy as you would imagine, right? Because there are some challenges that you have to be aware of. But don't worry, I'm going to be giving you solutions to fix them as well. Number one, many new hires are often apprehensive, when it comes to formulas, right? And it's okay. It's to be expected. But what you can do to help them overcome that fear is, you could simplify those complex functions and break them up step by step. You can even give them some sort of like cheat sheets with formulae and all that for commonly used ones. That's one. And second, if they are a new hire and they're new to Excel, they probably don't know, I haven't faced so much of data, blah, 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 right? And of course, you see this, right? It has bullets and sub bullets and everything that you need to create this sort of prompt, like this sort of an outline, which you can then go ahead and process. Writing something up like this or even recording a video should not take you more than 12 minutes. Then after that, all Nishant has to do is open up LinkedIn or, I don't know, like Site HR or something, and then go ahead and publish. Okay. So with that, you now have a content piece which is going to be super valuable for your audience, and it's going to be capturing their attention. And because it's come from you, and because you have positioned yourself in this way as someone who is helping your hero escape this broken world and reach paradise, everything that you come off, everything that you're going to be creating and giving to them is going to be super duper valuable. Now, with that, I want to talk about the big bad. The big bad is an abstract negative concept that you want to wage war on. something that is wrong with the world that you think should not be the case. You think that it is your personal responsibility to fix it. The reason I left it blank is when you're starting to build your personal brand, it is unlikely that you know what your big bad is. For me, when I'm building my own business, my big bad is the fact that people think building a brand and doing marketing is complex. I have dedicated my life to defeating that thought. That is my big bad. That marketing is a source of confusion, of overwhelm, and I don't want that to happen, right? So that is my overarching big bad. That is the thing that I am sworn to defeat. When you're starting out, you probably won't have something like that. And that's okay. As you go further and further, you will be able to figure out what you need to do. All right. With that, very quick summary. We started off by looking at the Put the Play First framework and how you can use this to position yourself as an expert for one particular audience and the problem that they have. And once you went through your answers, what you realized is like, oh, all of these, when you combine them with explosive questions, they give you a bunch of different prompts. And when you answer these sort of questions, these sort of content prompts, you have content that will be of interest to your hero because it solves a problem and it centers around themselves, because you are not the hero. Your audience does not care about you. You don't exist as far as they're concerned. Only they are real and their problems are real. But with this, you can become relevant to them. And then finally, as a third step, I showed you a 15-minute workflow with which, using one single prompt, you can get outputs for any sort of a question. And once that's done, you can create that piece of content, whether it's on audio or video or text, and you spend 1 minute to publish. With that, we are officially done with whatever I had to share. Once again, I'm open for any sort of questions that you might have. Very, very grateful to Hero Wired for this opportunity. And if you want to connect with me, I am Arvindh Sundar.
Thanks a lot, Arvindh, for this informative session. And I hope this way of learning personal branding might have, inspired a lot of people. Thank you so much for sharing this learning experience with us. And really looking forward to have many more sessions with you.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
Thank you
I
so
hope you
much,
enjoyed
Mahima.
this session. And before we end the session and before we come to the end of the session, I'm going to run a quick poll where you can let us know how was the session. You can let us know the feedback if you enjoyed the session, which will help us, do much more better in the future webinars, and also let us know if the session was useful. I'm just running the poll right away. Arvind, can you please quickly confirm if you can see the polls on the screen?
Yes, I can. Can I rate for myself?
Yeah, sure.
I'm totally not going to bribe any of you. Oh no, it says hosts and panelists cannot vote.
Yeah.
Bummer. But for the rest of you, now for the rest of you, like for everybody, I've managed to copy paste the prompt into the chat if you want to get started with it already. So that's over there.
Guys,
Rajesh, you'd asked for
please
it as well. Ashok as well.
Guys, please go ahead and take the poll. This will really help us in doing better and coming back with more exciting webinars for you all. And let us know if this session was useful, so that we can connect again with such topics and we can help you with such webinars more.
Oh, it seems that
I think we have questions for you, Arvind.
yes. Unfortunately, I'm not able to share the prompt with everyone. So Mahima, I don't. How do I share this with you
Maybe you can
guys?
share it with me, and our
Mhm.
team could later share with the attendees who have attended the session with
Yeah.
the deck that you wanted me to share with them later on.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm sorry, folks. I think I have pasted it into someone's chat. I'm terribly sorry about that. But if you do want the prompt, yeah, I'll make sure that Mahima gets it, and I'll be able to get you all the prompt. I really wish there was an easy way that I could send that across, right? So, okay, so that's there.
I think this brings us to the end of this session. And thank you so
Are
much,
there? Yeah,
everyone, for being a lovely audience today. Thanks a lot, Arvind, for sharing this wonderful topic and helping our audience. And really looking forward to work with you again.
absolutely. Absolutely. Just one last attempt. Oh,
Sure.
wonderful. Hey, folks, I
It
have
worked.
successfully managed to share the Miro board link.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, somebody's actually been able to. Oh, thank you, Ashok. I don't know how you got it, but you are awesome, mate. Thank you so much. Of course, he loves a mechanical keyboard, so I am partial to him. Right. One last question Amod has, which is can big bad and brief. Amod, the big bad is a philosophical enemy that you have decided for yourself, right? It's like this thing that is wrong in the world that you're saying this should not be allowed to exist. And you're deciding to declare war on it. Okay. That's what the big bad is. Oh, wow. Rajesh, that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Really, really grateful. First slide without notes. Vikram, if you go to that place, that link that I've just shared, you should be able to get that as well made. Okay. I don't know if I can move it there. Let's see if I can. Oh, actually, what's his name? Vikram. I am moving all of this. All of you have access to the Miro board, right? So if you just click on the link as well, Vikram, you should be able to take the screenshots and all that. Not a problem. Okay. And any questions you have, bring them to me over there. Satyendra, just search for Arvind Sundar, mate. I could put my LinkedIn URL. Yeah, that should work as well. Okay. Thank you so much, Mahima. I'm going to oh
Oh
someone's
my God, there
asking.
are so many questions that are coming in. Guys, I would like to inform you that we're running out of time, but I ensure you that our team will be reaching out to you with all your queries and they will be helping you out with all the answers to your queries. And yeah, we'll be connecting soon. And thank you so much for being a lovely audience today. And thanks a lot, Arvind, for being on
Thank
board for this
you.
session.
Thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot, guys. A very good evening. See you.
All right. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.